Hi guys, Eric here from Zuce Alien Tech Australia. A couple of weeks ago we were on the Talk 'em Up show with Gleno and Ferald, and we talked a little bit about dyno tuning, and the boys asked me to do a demonstration and show you guys some of the myths around it and why people are seeing so many different figures from one dyno to the next these days. So we're going to do a base run first up on this 79 series Land Cruiser, and then we're going to manipulate the straps and chocks and temperatures to show you how things can change and how easily they can change, and you go from making very little horsepower to making a lot of horsepower, and why it's not really relevant anymore to worry about what someone else's dyno makes. It's only a matter of what your car makes on that dyno on that day that's important. Now keep in mind that this car already has a tune in it, all right? So it's not making stock standard power, but we also have mud tyres on it as well, which are going to rob horsepower on the dyno. So we'll strap it down. A normal way we do, get a base run for today in today's atmospheric conditions. We'll then do that run, jump out, we'll let it cool down so the inlet temperatures come back to where they were on the start. We'll strap the car even harder, push the chocks in a little bit more and see how much horsepower we lose. Then we'll do the same thing, but we'll loosen the straps, pull the chocks out and see how much power we gain by letting the car come up onto the rollers, so you can understand why it's different from one dyno to the next and one operator to the next and how they strap the vehicle down. All right, let's see what happens. Alright guys, so there you go. We loosened the straps off, pushed the chocks out, made 217 at the wheels from 197 now without changing a single thing on the car. Literally just unstrapped it. So you can see the difference between different dyno operators and how the figures can change. That's not making anyone wrong at another dyno shop, it's just the way they do it versus the way we do and the way someone else does it. That's why it's so critical that it's only important what your car does on their dyno before and after on that day. Alright, not to get caught up with what someone else has made on another dyno, because you may well have more power than them on that other dyno, for example. Now one last thing I want to show you that can definitely change the figures and the outcomes, we talked about a little bit earlier, is we can put the inlet air temp probe under the bonnet in the airbox, which is supposed to simulate the inlet air temperature running through the airbox. But in reality, if you put it in the wrong place or in a different place, you can get a lot more heat. So if that gets hot enough, for example, up to say 38 degrees, it's going to affect the performance of the vehicle and make it make more power, because it thinks it's got hotter air going through for the reading it's getting from the roller. So it will then calculate out more horsepower on the dyno graph. Okay, there you go guys. So we manipulated the air temps by putting the probe in under the bonnet. We could see the inlet air temperature come right up, and as the engine increased in revs and heat, more temperature went in, and our power came up on the dyno as a result. We didn't actually gain any more power, it's just manipulating the dyno figures to make it look better. So these are all the little things you need to factor in and not get, like I said, too caught up with the figures on a dyno when you're at a different shop to someone else's shop, because these days there's no standard for how to strap a car or how to dyno it. There's different ramp rates for different cars, different dynos, with so many different types of dynos out there now. So I can't stress enough, don't get too upset about your dyno figures not being the same as someone else or being more, because it doesn't actually mean that, all right? And it doesn't mean the operator's doing something wrong either, it's just the way they go about their process, all right? So just remember, it's always important what your car makes on that day baseline versus what it makes after. That's the only thing that matters. And most of all, that you enjoy driving it after you've had your tune done.